boys, can't leave them bastards. A lot of dudes, just some
Welcome to the Erick and Brad Show. It is episode 64. We had a little break, so maybe it's been a little bit of time. You've had some time to, took a break. Maybe, gave us a little bit of space, check out your options, your other podcasts, You can cheat on us. It's all right. As long as you come on back. So come on back, sit down, crack a beer or a soda or water, whatever you got. I'm Eric. That's Brad. It's episode 64 on a beautiful Is the Earth Burning Down Saturday. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, buddy. How are you?
Fantastic.
How's the family? How are the children?
It's great.
Good. Okay.
Betsy just keeps getting bigger. Yeah.
Have you gone back to work?
Nope. I live off the government now. I mean, that's where we're at. Oh
my god.
Fuck the 1%. Woo! Fucking. That's.
Distribute the wealth.
Fucking. Basic income, whatever that's called. Yeah. Fucking.
Andrew Yang. Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Yang
BS,
gang.
son. BS, gang.
Yang gang. Dude, it's just been so. I feel like I've been going a fucking 1,000 miles an hour. If it's possible for someone to like thrive and also struggle at the same time, that's what I feel like I'm doing. If that's even possible. I was thinking about it yesterday, like thriving yet also fucking struggling all at the same time.
That just sounds like your constant mode is.
It is my constant mode.
I mean, it's probably good, Pressure makes diamonds, man. Fucking, if you were relaxed, you'd be like me, not working.
Yeah, you don't ever want to be too comfortable, right? You want to be a little fucking, stay on that edge just a little bit, right? That's why I'm fucking living.
Exactly. Living on the edge.
Crypto's doing good.
I've been hearing things about crypto doing good.
Money's doing good lately. My money has been doing good, but then it's like my dog busted his nail, and that's like the fucking stressing me the fuck out these last couple days. Big time.
His dog nail? Yeah.
It's just fucking. And you tell someone about it, and then they keep asking you about it. They ask you the next day, how's it? And it's like everybody just shut the fuck up and stop asking me about it, because you're making me feel guilty, and you're adding to the stress. It's like, everybody shut the fuck up. I wish I could just fix it like that. I wish I was like Dumbledore and I could just fucking whoosh with my wand, It's just like, fuck.
Okay, calm down. Calm down.
Yeah.
We just got the people back. You can't be scaring them off with this. Okay, Brad? Calm down.
Come back. People.
Come on back. Sit on down. Everything's fine. Nothing is fucked here, dude.
No.
Well, hell yeah. Is it like 1,000,000 degrees over there, or how's that going?
It's going to be like 105 tomorrow.
Yeah, it's brutal. This is the worst summer I've ever seen in my life. Hands down. I've never seen a hotter summer.
Really? Yeah.
I think so. In my memory, this is insane. It's just nonsense. We've had zero rain.
Yeah.
For like 2 months.
It's a drought.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's a drought here too.
It's 100 every time I walk out of my house. Fucking 100. It's just like, Jesus Christ, what is happening right now?
I thought you loved it. I love the heat. I fucking hate the cold.
I do, but it's just weird. I love it. It's just weird.
Yeah.
It's like, what is happening around here?
It's impossible. And it's a drought. I don't know. It's fucking ridiculous.
Maybe it's the global warming, man. The warming's getting global, and it's here. Now we're seeing it.
The warming's gone global.
The warming has gone global.
It's fucking stupid. And it was really smoky here. Now it's not really smoky anymore. But in Idaho, it's like really smoky. I saw a thing that said they have the number 3 worst air quality in the country right now. Sandpoint does. It's like right below toxic, like unhealthy levels.
That's crazy.
Just need rain.
We hit that last year, and so it's not as bad. Last year we got really smoky here in Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a lot of fires, like right outside of Portland. And that was bananas. But it's still really bad. I haven't been paying attention to Sandpoint at all, but it's definitely, if you look at the fucking mountains in the background, you can barely fucking see them. You know what I mean? Like, they're barely there. It's weird. Fucking shit's burning down. What do you do? Yeah, what do you do? So I got a great joke for you. You want to hear it? It's good.
Sure.
It's a good one. I like this one. So this guy starts a job at a animal control facility. And so it's first day on the job. So they put him with the veteran. You know, dude's name's Tom. He's the badass. He knows how to handle any situation. So first day, they're there at the shop. They get a phone call. Lady's like, there's a escaped gorilla from the zoo, and it's running around on people's rooftops, you know, jumping from rooftop to rooftop. You need you to come take care of this gorilla. So the animal control guy is like, got it. Tom, you know, veteran dude. He turns to the new guy. He's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. He's like, I'm going to go get the van. He's like, you're going to get a ladder. You're going to get handcuffs. You're going to get a shotgun. And see that dog over there? Bring the dog. Okay. So he gets all the shit, meets him in the van, they take off. They get to the place, they see the gorilla up on the roof, running around. They stop in front of the house. Tom turns to the new guy and he's like, okay, we're gonna set that ladder up. He's like, I'm gonna get up on the roof. He's like, I'm gonna wrestle this gorilla. I'm gonna throw him off the roof. He's like, when the gorilla hits the ground, that dog is trained to go after its groin. So it's going to just run right in there and just chomp. This is going to confuse the gorilla. At this point, it'll give you enough time to handcuff the gorilla. He's going to be so into that. And then from then on out, we'll be able to just take care of the gorilla and get out. And the new guy's like, why'd we bring the shotgun? He's like, if I climb up on the ladder, fight the gorilla, and he throws me off the roof, shoot the dog.
Nice.
Come on, it's a good joke.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, you're such a negative Nancy. That's a great joke right there. Good, clean joke too. No.
Say the last line. Say the last line again.
Shoot the dog.
God damn it. That is fucking good. That was a good one. We'll just cut that out later.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
You're a real asshole. Okay.
That's fun. That's a good one.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. My topics today, they're like, unfortunately, they're not like good topics. They're like trains of thoughts. You know what I mean?
Okay, bad topics.
Don't really have a big point. Speaking of crypto being up, did you see that I uploaded that crypto show a while back?
I didn't.
Oh, okay. Well, I did. If anybody wants to hear some crypto talk for an hour, I posted a crypto show a few episodes ago. Your name came up a few times. And I also used the word yeet like 4 times.
Nice.
Properly. Yeah.
Nice. Dude, real quick, can I interject there? It has to do with yeet. Fucking, I figured out the new way. You know, everyone's doing their yeets and their, you know, all these new words that all the kids are using nowadays. I slid one in, and I think it's perfect. And I did it completely accidentally, but I think it's the new way you should say this. I found it so funny, but I was just like riffing in the car and just saying stupid words, you know, little girls sitting there, we're just having fun, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what are we getting for lunch? I'm like, I want some fucking sushi. And I was like, that's it. That's how I'm saying sushi for the rest of my life. Is fucking sushi. Come on. It's good.
That's good.
It is good. Yep.
Yeah. It's sheesh. I believe it's sheesh.
Oh,
I learned this. Yeah, sheesh. And you do that because it's you say it when something's impressive to you, like
Sushi.
Something's really impressive, and you go sheesh. And you do the 2 fingers on your arm because it's supposed to be like ice in your veins. It's like ice.
Is that real talk? Or are you just confusing the boomers in here?
No. This is the Zoomers. This is the Zoomers talk. And fucking, I saw a TikTok of a girl asking people what it meant, and then she read the actual definition to them. And I was like, oh, ice in your veins. Sheesh.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's a weird one. These new ones are very weird.
Yeah, and I haven't done a movie show in a while. I really want to do Interstellar, but I'm so intimidated by it.
If you keep talking about doing Interstellar and not do Interstellar,
it's intimidating.
Oh my god.
I want to do it. The thing that's intimidating is that I still kind of don't really understand the ending, and I know a few people probably just rolled their eyes, but I understand it enough to, like, when I'm watching it, understand it. But I think it's a different thing when you try to explain the ending than to just, like, kind of, it makes sense in your head, but then to try to explain it, it's like a whole nother monster. But I'm gonna do it at some point. It's just a great fucking movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I watched the Godfather movies recently.
All three?
All three.
Hell yeah.
So fucking good. I think I'd watched them a while back, but I don't think I was really paying attention. And so I watched them because I'm out of stuff to watch. So I watched them and I was just like, God damn, these are good fucking movies. Except for the third one. Nobody likes the third one. But
yeah, I watched, for the first time, I'd watched that when I was in the hospital a few years ago.
Nice.
And it was weird because I was like up all night long. I couldn't sleep at night. So it'd be like 3 a.m. in a hospital and just all dark and everything's quiet. And I'd just be sitting there watching The Godfather with commercials, which was real lame. Fucking that sucked. But yeah, it was like, oh, this is a really good movie. And I can't remember if I just watched the first one or if I watched all three. I can't remember. But I remember being pretty impressed and was like, this is pretty good. Because I had seen it when I was young.
Yeah.
And I think I just saw bits and pieces and I was like, this movie sucks. Because it's kind of slow. It's kind of a slow movie. And so, I don't know, when I was younger, it just wasn't enough. I wanted Jurassic Park and shit like that. I wanted fucking action.
It's like at the beginning of it, you're kind of like, okay, this is just an old movie that's slow. But then you kind of get into it and kind of like really get into it and you're like, holy shit, this is actually really good. And it's just like a master class on acting, on cinematography, on music. It's like a master class on everything. So it's like you could watch the movies and just pay attention to one thing. Like, I'm just going to pay attention to what the clothes that they wear and just pay attention to that the whole time, or just the music or something like that. It's like pick anything and it's just like perfection. It's fucking great.
Yeah. I might have to watch that movie again. I have to revisit that.
The second one, fucking good. I also watched The Graduate, which I had never seen, and that's like a legendary movie with Dustin Hoffman. And a young Dustin Hoffman. I think it's from like 1967 or something like that. But it's a legendary movie, and the thing is, Simon and Garfunkel did the entire soundtrack to the movie.
Nice.
So that's where you get like, here's to you, Mrs. Robinson, and you also get like the Sound of Silence song, because they did a bunch of songs for it, but that's where those two songs sort of came from, them making those songs for the movie. Such a good movie. Oh my God, I loved it. And it's where Dustin Hoffman sort of gets in like a love triangle with the neighbor mother who's married and her daughter as well. He gets in like a weird love triangle with the mom and the daughter. Fucking great. And it had me thinking a little bit, and I don't think that this really applies to the movie, to this specific movie, but I've been thinking about this for a while, and I'd love to hear like an hour-long podcast or radio show segment about this topic. And I'm sure it's out there. I've never actually searched for it, but just songs that were made for movies that were bigger than the movie, or songs that were made for movies that were bigger than the movie. And I'm sure there's a list out there someone's done. I've never searched for it. I don't think we're qualified to do it, because I would think that Mrs. Robinson song or whatever probably isn't bigger than The Graduate, maybe. And then there's some others I thought of.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yeah.
It has. Well, I don't know what you'd be judging that on because I
Right.
never even heard of The Graduate, and everyone's heard of that song. But are you
So maybe it is bigger
sure?
than the movie.
Are you sure that that song wasn't written before the movie and they just added it to the movie?
No, because the neighbor mom he has a thing with is called Mrs. Robinson.
Okay.
That's her name. Yeah, yeah. They did the whole soundtrack for the movie. That's where the song comes from. But I mean, an easy one, some easy ones is like, and I know there's so many out there. And it's kind of hard to think of like songs that were made for movies, and it's like that "Gangster's Paradise" song by Coolio was made for a movie called Dangerous Minds, which I've watched that movie. It sucks, but that's a huge song.
That movie, yes, that movie. Okay, that song is definitely bigger than the movie.
Yeah.
But when that movie came out, that was a big deal. When I was a kid. Yeah, you don't remember that Dangerous Minds?
No.
It was a big to do.
Why?
I honestly haven't thought about that till you just said that, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone watched it when it came out.
Weird, but it's not good.
Been living most our lives. It's just another one of those movies, right? Where like, isn't it like a teacher thing? Like a teacher.
Yeah, like a white teacher goes into like the inner city to teach
Yeah.
urban black kids.
How to dance,
which has been done a million times.
Yeah.
But that song is definitely bigger than that movie. And that might be the biggest one. And then I've never seen The Bodyguard, but that's what Whitney Houston made I Will Always Love You for. That's but that's also a big movie. I've just never seen it, but that's a giant fucking song. And then another one I thought of is for Armageddon, that Aerosmith song Don't Want to Miss a Thing. And
was that written for that?
Yeah, it was, and I feel like that's a close toss-up. Like, is that song bigger than the movie? Because I feel like everyone knows the movie, but they still like play that song on the radio today.
Just hear you cry. Yeah.
Yeah.
A big problem with this argument is
yeah,
movies for some reason don't even like The Graduate, even these huge movies, to me don't last. The timeline's different between music and movies. I really feel like. And yeah, I don't know.
But it's like Titanic, that Titanic song by Celine Dion. The movie I think is clearly bigger than that song is.
Dude, literally everything we're talking about, you could argue for a long. I would honestly have.
You could argue.
I can't. I agree with what you're saying, but I also could totally. If we were gonna sit and fucking argue, I could totally argue everything you just said. Just be like, no, bro, fucking.
I think some. Well, like you're not gonna argue Dangerous Minds. That song's clearly bigger than that movie.
Yeah. Right. But there was a timeline there. There was like, and it just matters how long that time. It's like in my mind, I'm seeing all these things we're comparing. I'm seeing like a graph to where like it matters at where you are in that timeline, because like with Dangerous Minds and that, it's like the first few years after that movie came out, you'd be this movie is bigger than that song,
right,
and then the movie just drops off, and then so you got Titanic,
right.
Titanic and that song are maybe did a little different. I would say 5 years. That fucking song was a little bigger than the movie, and then leveled back down with the movie. And now we're getting to a point where they're still like neck and neck.
No. I think the movie is clearly bigger than the song is.
And then this is also the timeline thing I'm saying. I guarantee you, I could like right now, I have the perfect fucking test subject. And a lot of young kids I talk to, their movies, they haven't seen a lot of movies. You know what I mean? And fucking Cheyenne, I guarantee you every song we just talked about, I could play it and she'd be like, yeah. Of course I've heard that song. But then half the movies we just talked about, she'd be like, I don't know what that is. Like Armageddon.
Right.
I would fucking almost bet money she'd be like, I don't know what that movie is.
No.
Fucking The Graduate, for sure. Because I've never even heard of The Graduate. So, of course she's seen Titanic. But I guarantee every song we just talked about, she's heard. Everyone's heard all those songs. Even the Celine Dion one. I don't know. There's some argument. I like the thought process. I like the idea. You're onto a good idea.
Thank you. I mean, I'm not going to be following through with it. I'd love to hear someone else
It'd be a great little YouTube video or TikTok video, like real quick.
Yeah.
Just do a real quick fucking... You could do the numbers on it, you know?
Yeah, somehow. Some
blah, blah, blah.
Fucking algorithm. I mean, The Graduate's considered, like, in the critical world, one of the greatest movies of all time. But you're right, that Mrs. Robinson song is pretty massive
huge.
As well.
Huge.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like their biggest hit, easily.
Sound of Silence is pretty fucking big, too.
I think Armageddon and that Don't Want to Miss a Thing are pretty close. I feel like that's neck and neck. But you're probably right. Young people would be like, I've never seen Armageddon before. But maybe they've heard that song on the radio or in some fucking Target store or something like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty close. I'd love to think of some... I've tried to think of some other ones, too, but... Not a lot of movies, I feel like, have like songs made for them anymore. Maybe.
No,
it's like Lord of the Rings, Star Wars.
It's a weird popular. Well, those movies are. That's different because those songs aren't songs. Those are fucking.
Yeah.
You know, orchestra type fucking things. That's totally different. But it's still like. I don't know. One I talk about a lot and I really like, but there was no bangers on the album. Was but fuck, it used to be done all the time. I feel like that's stopped like 10 years ago. Like bands or people like getting it on a soundtrack and doing the whole fucking soundtrack. Like Tarzan. Fucking Phil Collins did the whole Tarzan soundtrack.
Yeah,
but
that's
nothing.
A good one.
There's a few songs on there that did okay, but they weren't his biggest songs by any means. But he did that. But he did that one with Justin Timberlake, right? Wasn't it Justin Timberlake? The scat song. It's like all in scat shit, and it's like it starts out and they're like going through like in the movie they're going through the fucking. It's right when the gorillas find the camp of all the humans, and all the humans are gone, and then they're like banging all the pots, and there's like elephants, and it's like ding 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 ding, and then
Disney,
I believe it goes.
Well. That's a Disney thing, but I guess a lot of Disney cartoons didn't really do that before, maybe like Phil Collins. They had like theme songs like A Whole New World or whatever the fucking, like Aladdin stuff is.
But it would be like different artists.
Find an artist.
But a little different, because it'd be like, this song is this song, this song is this song, like blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. You know what's weird is back like 15 years ago when I was in school, Linkin Park did like songs for 2 different Transformer movies that were these big songs, but they're not bigger than Transformers was. I don't know. There's probably more than you think there is. There's a lot of them.
I know that Neil Young did. God, I always forget the name of this movie. Where the Buffalo Roam, I believe. Have you not seen that? It's a lesser known. There's Murray. Like 2. Bill Murray about fucking what's his name? Hunter S.
Thompson. Yeah,
and I think it was Neil Young did the whole album. And I think there is a song on there that was relatively popular. Wait, and then what's the dude? I'm having a brain fart and I don't know the story behind it. But is this in the same category? Where the river runs through it, or God, what song am I thinking of? There's like an old fucking. I'm blanking. I'm thinking The River Runs Through It. Wasn't that an album that a single person did, and there was a huge song on that movie?
I've never seen that movie.
You know, you've heard of that movie though, right?
Yeah. You know, there's one, Lose Yourself by Eminem was made for 8 Mile, and that song's clearly bigger than that movie.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah. That's a good one. That one's weird because it's a movie about the person who made the song, so that's kind of odd, but...
Yeah.
Was any movies made for... Or was any songs made... Did Whitney Houston do any songs for The Bodyguard?
Yeah. I Will Always Love You.
That was for the movie?
Yep.
Okay, that's clearly way bigger than the fucking movie.
Yeah, it is. I was trying to think about like Michael Jackson and Prince. I know Prince did that whole soundtrack to that Batman movie, but I don't think there was any big hits off of it. I think Michael Jackson did a song for like Free Willy, but that wasn't bigger than Free Willy. Free Willy's pretty big. I don't know.
Yeah, but that wasn't a soundtrack made by Michael Jackson because Dave Matthews Band was also on that. That was my first introduction to Dave Matthews Band when I was a little kid, and I loved that song. Fucking,
Jeez.
oh come on, Dave Matthews Band's awesome.
No, they suck.
Dave Matthews Band's great. I like the idea. I like where you're going with that. Movie talk. I don't know if you got more of that, but we just had a little interesting discussion. And I feel like we've talked about it on the show, but we were thinking about, we were bored yesterday, the family, and she's like, the idea came up to go to a movie. And I'm like, we can't, we literally can't go to movies. I was like, we're banned from movies. We can't do it. We cannot walk into a movie theater. We have a baby. I'm like, you can't bring a baby to a movie theater. I was like, I don't like even going to restaurants. It drives me nuts to go to a restaurant. Fucking a movie theater? Get out of here. And I was like, the only acceptable way to go to a movie theater, you have to go to a matinee. Like, you have to go to the 12 o'clock show. If you're going to take a baby to a movie, which I still don't like the idea at all, at least do it at a matinee. Do you agree with that at all? Like,
I guess.
It's better, right? It's better to go to the matinee than...
It's better, but you still shouldn't, but it's probably better. Yeah. So what movie did you go to?
We didn't, I shut it down. I shut the whole thing down. I was like, fuck this. Okay. We're not doing it. I ain't doing this thing. But we did come up with, and we want to go do it, but the movie selection's fucked, there's a drive-in. I was like, well, we could do a drive-in. That's actually a pretty good idea. Can't bitch at a baby crying in the closed doors. You know what I mean? Yeah,
no, that's a good idea.
Yep. But the only two movies, there's a drive-in down like 40 minutes away. It's Suicide Squad and The Death of a Salesman. And, Death of a Salesman. Or Little Shop of Horrors. It's one of those two movies, old movies. And I was like, we can't take... Then we were arguing about that. I was like, Suicide Squad is not for a 5-year-old. Like, we can't be taking a 5-year-old to that movie.
I don't even want to see it.
I don't want to see it either.
Right. You guys were just thinking of shit to do.
We were just thinking. But I think we're going to go next week because it's got the Jungle...
Cruise?
That new Jungle Cruise. And I think a 5-year-old could get into that. It's PG-13, but I think that one would be more acceptable for a kid.
Yeah. More acceptable than Suicide Squad. Well, okay, so a little bit more movie talk.
Okay, more movie talk. Let's hear it.
But this is kind of a weird way to get to it. So a while back, this is really strange. So a while back, when I was working building airplanes, for some reason I got on this thing where I was thinking people regard Martin Luther King as one of the greatest speakers of all time, giving speeches. And I'm like, I don't really know too much about, and I'm like, speeches. I only know one speech that he gave, and you only really kind of know the title of it. And then I'm like, so there's more? So I don't know. So I went home and I downloaded a bunch of Martin Luther King speeches. So I was then working on planes and I was listening to the speeches. Just because I was curious. I was like, is he really a good speaker? Is he really good at giving speeches? I want to know. And yeah, the answer was overwhelmingly yes. And out of all the ones I listened to, I liked the one I liked the best was called Why Jesus Called a Man a Fool. And it was so fucking good, especially right about halfway through the speech when he starts talking about that he can't sleep and he's up at night in the kitchen. Right when he gets to that part, it's so fucking good. So, and I re-listened to it recently because I was thinking about it for some reason, and I was listening to it and I was like, God damn, that's a good fucking speech, man. It's so good. And you listen to him give speeches and it's like perfect timing, perfect like emphasis on words. It's like if like the greatest actor in the world had to give a speech and had a year to prep for it, like a Daniel Day-Lewis or something, and then gave the speech. Like, that's how down to the fucking minute or second it would be. It was like, it's just like so good. And I was listening to that, and and football's about to start, so I'm all signed up for fantasy leagues. We got the drafts ready to go. I'm fucking jonesing for football, ready for football. So somehow the fusion of those two things came together, of like civil rights speeches and football, and I was like, I'm gonna watch Remember the Titans tonight.
Oh my God.
So then that night I watched Remember the Titans, and then a few weeks ago when the Olympics were going on and stuff, and I was thinking about the Miracle on Ice, this 1980 hockey game from the U.S. against the U.S. and Russia, where the U.S. won, and is like legendary, absolute, one of the greatest moments in American sports history without question. And I was watching documentaries on it, but then there's a movie about it called Miracle, which is a Disney movie, a hockey movie. And I was like, I'm going to watch that too, because now I'm all fucking into like good sports movies. I watched Remember the Titans, which was good, and I'm like, I'm going to watch Miracle too. So I watched Miracle, and I was like, Miracle's a great movie. Remember the Titans is a great movie. And I'm like, you know what, Disney? Fuck you, Disney, for what you're doing now. And you made two really good sports movies, and I'm sure they've made other good sports movies, but now they just care about Marvel and Star Wars, and I'm like, they're never going to make a good sports movie again, ever, because they just care about money, and they're not going to make money off of it. And I was just like, fuck you, Disney.
Yeah, I bet you, I don't know. I hear what you're saying. I hate sports movies. Not really into it. Not my thing.
Oh, I love it.
I get what you're saying,
much.
And I could totally see Disney not giving two fucks. They're just gonna ride the Frozen train. You know what I mean?
The Avenger train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole world is so like, I don't get why people are so into it, because it's so obvious to me that they're just bleeding that shit dry. Like,
I know.
It's just like, how many more fucking... It's just ridiculous. Yeah. It's so ridiculous how far it's gone. And now they got the Loki thing. It's just like, oh my good Lord.
It's going to go on forever. And it's like, they're capable of making a good sports movie, but they're never going to do it again. Ever. Never. Because it's not going to make $1 billion in the theater.
Yeah. They did
and I'm
Cool
like,
Runnings.
Fuck you. That's a Disney movie.
Yeah. I'd say that's a classic. I'd say that's probably like neck and neck with Remember the Titans. If there's two good sports movies, it's Cool Runnings.
It was probably like Pirates of the Caribbean that switched them over to like billion-dollar franchises.
I forgot about
probably it. Yeah.
Yeah. And they stopped making those because they had to pay fucking Johnny Depp like $2 billion a movie.
Yeah.
Like, we can't afford this fucker's lifestyle.
And they took Johnny Depp, who was like really good, talented at making like these small independent films, and made him like a rock star making billions of dollars. And he's never been the same since.
No.
Fucking. So it's like Disney is such a love-hate relationship sometimes. Probably more hate than love. Those motherfuckers.
That fucking mouse is up there just fucking everything up. Oh boy.
Just jerking off in a giant pile of cash.
Jerking off. Are we done with movie talk? Or do you got more?
No, I'm done with movie talk.
Let's see. Kids started school, so that was interesting. Got the first experience doing that. They did like a pre-run, like a week long. It was all last week, like a week long, I don't know, starting class. They just take the kids in before kindergarten and stick them all in a classroom and make T-shirts and play out in the field and shit.
And you went there?
Just went and dropped her off and picked her up every day. And fucking, it was weird. It's a new step in life. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird doing that stuff. And then, schools in Oregon and COVID, so that's weird too. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, when I drop my dog off at the kennel, I have to tell myself, like, just leave. Because, like, I don't want to leave.
Yeah, it's not hard for me at all. It's the big step in life. It's not the actual dropping off or picking up. It's not weird for me, and it's not weird for her at all. She'd give a fuck less. You say bye, and she's like, what?
Later.
Bye. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So got that going, so that was fun. Yeah, the fucking, and you know, I don't know how much you hear about it. Oh shit, sorry. And how much it's on the news, but I'm pretty sure it's all over the news. But you know, we're going back into fucking lockdown shits again, essentially. Like, it's getting weird again. It was getting to the point where around here it was like, dude, fuck. Last month has been great. Mask off, just walking into stores, like, that's how it's supposed to be. Fucking starting to feel a little normal around here, and then now everyone's all fucking Oregon, mask up, no matter what, 100%. Any store, gotta be masked up. Mm-hmm. Gotta do it.
Fuck.
So, yeah, it's getting weird.
It's fucking real. And like the New Orleans Saints stadium was the first stadium to say you need to either require proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test to go to games. First stadium. It's like, fuck.
It's so dumb, dude. I
and
really
speaking of
that shit.
A week next Friday, I have my second shot. So next show, no, I'm not gonna make any promises. Might be hurting.
You're doing it next Saturday?
Next Friday.
Next Friday?
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna hurt.
Dude, this is so fucking ridiculous.
And you said a few weeks ago, you're like, they kind of started as it's not going to be mandatory, and now it's kind of shifting to a feeling of mandatory. And I was like, no, but now it seems like it is.
No, it's just going to be, there's a loophole there. There's a fucking social loophole that, this bugs me about a lot. I just fucking, a few days ago, I got into a fucking Facebook argument. Didn't want to be in, but it irritated me. And then... I used to follow all these fucking atheist websites, like when I was a fucking in your face atheist, love to argue people about God. Now I could really now I could give a fuck less. But all these atheist havens on Facebook, all these groups, all they really are is just hardcore liberal.
Yes,
like it's very liberal shit.
Yes.
And it gets really irritating listening to it. It's like, because I feel like in the last year or two, they've shifted away from, like, I don't know, attacking God, which in the end, after even those posts, I'm like, who cares? Like, what world do you fucking live in where there's, like, any fucking oppression from the church? Like, what are you talking about? That shit doesn't exist. Not in America. Maybe in other countries. You know what I mean? That there's pressure from the religion. In America, no one gives a shit if you're fucking atheist. Like, no one cares. Fucking... So this is kind of stupid group to even have. Like, why is there a group of people? But then you just realize 90% of the posts are just all political posts. And then that irritates me. It's like, okay, is this not... I don't know. To me, it's like, isn't there like a conflicting... Isn't there something conflicting about a group of people who don't want to be oppressed by a large organization, like a religious sect, then are like also super about like big government. You know what I mean? And like, aren't you like running into a problem there? Like, you know, fucking. But anyways, this post was about, I know now I'm getting off on where I was originally going with this, but the post was about, do you think BLM... it was about BLM and Antifa. And I think it was someone's comment about it. And I essentially was just like... bringing up the... Oh, yeah. Bringing up the... I'm having a hard time fucking putting this in words. If they're like... oh, my God. Like...
Terrorists?
No,
Justified?
God damn it, I can't remember what it was about, but,
God damn it.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember what the actual post was. I've lost my train of thought, fucking...
Yeah, I got into a Facebook argument this week.
Think about it, I just can't fucking, it's not coming, I can't put it into words.
This stupid article came across my Facebook, and it was like this clickbaity article. And the article was, and I wasn't even going to bring this up because I don't want it to come off as me mad at the person, because I don't want to make it any more weird than it already is. And it really pissed me off, though. And it was an article that came up on my thing, and it said, Dr. Dre's daughter is living in her rental car. And that was the article. And it was a clickbaity fucking bullshit thing. And I commented on it something really mean and something really stupid. I said something along the lines of, I hope that rental car company charges her more when she brings back that nasty car. Or something like that. And it was a stupid moment of weakness where I commented something dumb. And because I was just like, I was more mad at the clickbaity stupid article than anything this fucking girl that I don't know has ever done in her life, or anything between the relationship between her and her billionaire father. Who gives a fuck? And then my brother's girlfriend, like, this isn't a page I'm following. This is not a post I shared. She just saw it on there that Brad Robertson commented that. So then she jumps on and starts attacking me about, you wouldn't want someone shaming you or whatever if you were living in your car. And I'm just like, why would you jump on that? Why did she have to make it so fucking weird? And I'm like, you don't know anything about this girl and her relationship with her dad. I don't know anything about this girl and her relationship with her dad, but now you're defending her for some reason. And I'm telling her, you're spending $30 a day on a rental car. That could go to paying for a room for rent every month. Why you're an idiot to be living in a fucking rental car. And then we go back and forth, and then eventually I just say, okay, what I said was wrong. Just trying to end the fucking thing, even though I'm just like, way to make it weird. Like, way to make it fucking weird, you know? Like, I don't even know I don't even know you. And then, like, 2 days later, she replied, and one of the comments, she just said, she did a whole thing of her explanation defending this girl, and then she just said, okay, I'm signing off. And I'm like, okay, now I'm going to reply to you because I don't give a fuck. Signing off of Facebook? What are you talking about? And then at the end, I'm like, what I said was wrong. Like, there, are you happy? And she's like, thanks, Brad, for admitting that. I'm just trying to bring awareness. And I'm like, bring awareness to fucking what? What are you talking about? You have no idea what you're talking about. Neither do I. And I shouldn't have posted something stupid in the first place. That's my fault. But then you had to make it weird. And I'm like, my fucking brother's stupid girlfriend. Like, she's a great person, but it's just like, why do you even, it's like a terrible forum to have a discussion, and especially one that you know nothing about and I know nothing about. Okay,
but Facebook is legitimately set up to do exactly what just played out there. That's what it is set up to do. That is what those people are trying to get you to do. Because I see, it's funny, I think
just delete me.
In recent years, Facebook has started doing, you'll pop up on my wall when you comment on a page I don't even follow.
Yeah.
And it'll show the controversial headline, and it'll show my friend making that deal. And so it's trying to engage people into your comment to start a fight there. Like, yeah. It's like, I see it all the time, and it's like, why? It's so, like, I'm sure a bunch of my friends saw my post on that atheist site, even though they don't follow that atheist site. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then can just sit in the background and talk shit about what I'm saying in that post.
It's like your friend's just at work, and then someone's like, hey, just to let you know, Eric Beavers hates God. And then they'll just be like, really? Fuck him, then. Like, she was just at work, and it's like, hey, just to let you know, Brad's bashing some girl who's poor and living in her rental car. And then she just gets baited into it too, and it's like, fuck you and fuck me, because I'm nowhere in the right at all. But it's like, way to make it weird. Why couldn't you just scroll? Now, if I ever run into you again with my brother, it's like gonna be weird then. It's like, god damn it. I was so upset. I'm like, why would you make it so fucking uncomfortable? Why are we even talking to each other?
Yeah.
So dumb.
Yeah, and like the argument I was in, it's just, after I was really motivated for like two of the back and forths. And then on the third back and forth, it was like, you're not making valid points, and there's nothing I can say. And what irritates me, I hate when I argue with people and they start getting like cocky in the argument. You know what I mean? They're like, and it's like, dude, now I'm mad. Now I'm like fucking mad. It's like, no, you don't have room to be cocky. You haven't like made any good points to start being like, like gloating, like, yeah, see, like fucking idiot. And it's like, you didn't make any good points. All you're doing is attacking my character. You're not attacking you're not actually having a debate here. You're just calling me a fucking retard, trying to like belittle me in this.
Being like, no, I'm right. Like, I have a master's degree. I fucking started multiple $1 million businesses or something like that.
Well, no, it was like he would just be like fucking, you don't even know what the definition of that word is, or like shit like that. And it's like, oh, okay, like you literally like that what you just said had nothing to do with debating what we were debating. You're just essentially, and it was every post he did. If you just step back from it, it's like all you're doing is attacking me on different angles, like trying to just make me look stupid, but you're not even arguing what we're arguing about. Like fucking, and then I was just like, why am I doing this? Why the fuck am I doing this with some fucking blue hair? Fuck the blue hairs.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ruined everything.
Everything is just such a debate. Everything's a debate everywhere. Everyone's got opinions. I just hate it. I hate it all. I guess they fucking maced some. I guess I don't know. I just saw a little bit of a headline, but I guess a few days ago in Portland, there was like a church group who had like posted something on Facebook, and they were gonna go down to the waterfront and like hold a sermon or whatever. You know what I mean? Like just a group of church people. And I guess all these like Antifa people like threatened them online. Is like, don't you fucking dare, blah blah. Like, I don't understand like I don't understand what the issue was. And again, I didn't read too far into it. Like, I don't get why Antifa would have a problem with a church group coming down. Fucking, you know, it doesn't make any sense to me. But I guess they fucking are doing their little sermon. And all these people, like masked up people, fucking came down and were bear macing all the fucking. And I guess there was like children and shit in the group, and then fucking maced the priest and fucking, like just kicked him out of the park. And then police did nothing. Like the police never got involved in the whole thing. And it was like, you're wrong to do that. This town's going to shit.
Yeah. Do you still want to move to Idaho?
I do. I really do.
What about southern Idaho?
No, absolutely not.
Come on.
Fuck. So why are you trying to sell me on southern Idaho?
I don't know. I've been researching.
What? It's so weird. Yeah, I have a buddy I was just talking to, and he's like, dude, just go to Eastern Oregon. Like, fucking Eastern Oregon is garbage. It's the same as southern Idaho. It's just garbage. It's just a garbage wasteland of just tumbleweeds everywhere. And yeah, I'm not. No, I just want to go back to Sandpoint. I'm just trying to figure out how to get back to Sandpoint because it's a real problem. There's a real problem right now to where you can't move to Sandpoint. Like, it's impossible.
No,
you can't move there.
Yeah, even if you're there, you can't move to somewhere else there. You're fucked.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going to happen there.
I saw a 3-bedroom house in Bonners going for like $460,000. I'm like,
yeah, it's
Bonners
insane.
is supposed to be $100,000 houses, not $500,000.
Yeah,
Stupid.
I don't understand how anybody can make it in Idaho anymore. It's really...
It's hard for me to understand how anybody can make it anywhere else other than where I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
If I could make money, I'd be there in a heartbeat. If anybody has any ideas on how I can make money, I will fucking move back in a heartbeat. I'm fucking all about it. I hit my brother up with some ideas, and I don't know. I got some things in motion. We'll see. I'm trying real hard. Yeah. Well, I gotta do something. Fucking sitting at home isn't paying the bills. You know what I mean? Fucking something's got to change here.
Yeah. Just spending money.
Just spending money. I got a funny little story. I don't think anybody... I don't even know if you'll understand this. Maybe you will. Maybe you won't. It'll be a small group of people that actually can visualize what I'm saying. But I thought it was pretty funny. And I hope you understand, and I hope people listening understand. But for you to understand this, I feel like you would have had to have, at one point in time, disassembled an AR-15. Have you ever
Okay.
disassembled an AR-15?
Not completely.
Not down to the bolt, like down to fucking having a bolt in your hand and it has a firing pin inside of it and a little cotter
No.
pin that you pull and it pulls the...
No.
Okay, so I cleaned my AR the other day.
Okay.
And I hate cleaning the AR. Out of all the guns, I feel like it's the hardest. The shotgun, the bore is kind of a bitch in comparison to the other bores, but there's just a lot of pieces in the AR, so it just takes it takes a lot of time. The other ones, I feel like I can get that shit done in like 5 minutes, and the AR, I feel like it takes me like 45 minutes to disassemble everything, fucking scrub all the pieces, you know, get it all clean. And so I'm working on the AR, and there's a lot more pieces than most of the other guns, you know, and I don't go crazy. I do like I'd say like a medium clean, like just at least get the bolt out, get the bore. You know, I didn't get into the trigger or anything like that, shit that really doesn't need to be cleaned every time. But I got all these pieces out, all these fucking pieces. Everything's clean. I'm like 45 minutes in, and I start assembling everything back in. And so it's like a bolt, and there's like all these, there's like 6 little pieces that have to do with the bolt. So you have like the bolt, and then there's like a hole in the center, and you slide in the firing pin. Firing pin's like 4 inches long, and then you got this cotter pin that slides in from the side, and that holds the firing pin, and it's just little pieces. And once you get that, then you just slide it into the upper with the fucking cocking thing. Slide it in. So I do that, pop the 2 rings in, you know, fuck, bam, gun's good. And then so, you know, every time I do something to a gun like that, then I, you know, check it, you know, fucking cock it back, make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do. You know what I mean? And I fucking pull it back, and it fucking cocks back, and then I fucking go to release, and it fucking just stops halfway back. And I'm like, what is happening? It doesn't close. It like stops halfway where it should. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I like, I don't know, like flip the gun upside down, and I hear like a rattling noise. And I'm like, well, that's not supposed to be there. You know what I mean? Fucking, why is there a rattling noise? I'm like, what the fuck? And then it's like stuck, and now I can't get it to cock back or anything. It's like, what the fuck? And so then I then start again. Okay, well, I'm disassembling the whole thing. I did something wrong here. You know, and everything looks right. And I take the fucking bolt out, and I fucking flip the bolt up, and a fucking duplex nail falls out. Like, I don't know if you know what do you know what a duplex nail is?
No.
Well, it's really weird, and it's funny because it looks identical to a firing pin. Like, they look exactly the same. So I was sitting there on my bench, and I had a duplex nail sitting right there, and I used it to pull the cottering pin, and I fucking just take it and stick it. Dude, it was so weird. They look identical, and it fit in perfect. It fit right in the fucking hole, looked exactly like the firing pin, and just stuck it in there. It's like, oh, blah, blah. And then when the duplex fell out of the gun, I'm like, how the fuck did a duplex nail get in there? And I'm like, oh, shit. And then I look over, and my firing pin's sitting on my fucking desk. I'm like, oh, wow, look at that. I don't know. I thought it was weird.
Weird.
What's weird is an 8-penny duplex nail is almost identical. Like, it would almost fucking work. It's crazy. Almost. The tip, the little piece of the tip is a little different. I don't know. It was weird. I know that's a weird story. Fucking, I told that to Vince, and he thought it was fucking hilarious. Because I don't know. I wish I should have fucking like went and grabbed it so people watching could see. It's fucking identical. I guarantee if I held it up, you would have to like be like, which one is the firing pin?
I wonder if you're the first person in history that's ever happened to.
I bet you I'm not.
Probably.
It is so fucking similar, I would bet someone else has done that. If you just
I would bet that you were, but...
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. That's fucking weird. So, I've listened to a lot of podcasts in my lifetime. Okay?
Okay.
A lot of podcasts.
Okay.
Far more than the average podcast listener. But I think it was a week ago, I listened to one of the greatest ones I've ever listened to in my life. Without question.
Okay.
And it did blow up a little bit just because multiple people like brought it up to me without me even bringing it up to them. And it's like, wow, this one really made waves. And I know this is, part of this is problems that I have with you and problems that I have with the country of North Korea. Because it was this girl on Joe Rogan, episode 1691, this North Korean girl who escaped North Korea, and she told her story on Joe Rogan's podcast, and it was fucking crazy. It was pretty much life-changing. As much as like a podcast could change your life, it did for me, because immediately afterwards, I started thinking about my entire life differently and looking at all my friends and family and judging them hardcore and, you know, and in their lives. It was so good. It was amazing. Her name's like Yeonmi Park. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. And I knew that North Korea was a bad place to be. I had no idea how bad it actually was. It is so bad that, and she opened up a lot of things that I never really thought about before, and now I have the answers to them because I'm on her side 100%. It was fucking crazy. And she went on Jordan Peterson's show, and like her book is like top on Amazon right now. If you're listening to this, you should listen to it because it will change your life for the better. North Korea is a terrible, terrible fucking place. Really bad.
Huh.
Like,
I'll listen to it.
Well, no, that's the problem with you, is that you're too cheap to pay $10 a month for Spotify.
Yeah,
but you'll buy a six-pack every day.
I can watch it on my computer, I found out. I was watching a little bit of Rogan the other day.
Well, it's really fucking good, dude. It'll change your life. And people in the United States do not know how lucky that they are that they live here. And I'm talking about every person that lives here, whether you're in prison, whether you're whatever. You are so lucky to live here. That was kind of the first thing that hit me, was just how absolutely lucky that we are to live in this country. It was like, wow. And it's just crazy there that the government doesn't let the people have food. They'll kill you if they catch you with like food. They don't supply food for you. There's no grocery stores, but you're still expected to survive. So the main diet is like grasshoppers and rats, and also cannibalism, eating other people, because somehow you have to eat food, but you're not allowed to have food. It's fucking nuts. And like a snake, if you can find a snake, it's rare, but then you can eat that snake. And like they only like poop like twice a month because they don't eat anything. And the average height of a man is like 4'10", and they're shrinking over time. The average height in North Korea is shrinking over time because they're so malnourished. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, I'd love to get my hands on one of those fuckers, like one of the people in charge, like in the military, because I'll fuck them up because of the things that they do to like the people there, who have to like work on a farm for a year and farm food, but you're not allowed to eat any of the food or have any of the food. You're just farming the food for the leaders of the country. And anyway, her story was fucking nuts that she actually escaped and is now like living in Chicago. And she's actually super, and the reason why she hasn't been on more places like the New York Times or CNN or Fox News is because she's really against like woke culture and pronouns and all this stuff about like rules with language and stuff, because she's like, that's the same kind of things in North Korea. Like they don't have a word for love, they don't have a word for like empathy and stuff like that, because they have to call each other like comrade, and they say we. There's no word for I, so they can't say like I worked hard today. They always have to say like we. And she sees that it's a slippery slope that sort of leads to that by trying to control the language in a country. And she's also very pro Second Amendment, which makes sense because she's like, you know, that would keep your country from becoming like a North Korea, like having the Second Amendment. And it's really kind of crazy that she makes those connections and stuff like that. It was fucking nuts, dude. She actually said something in it that kind of was shocking to me too. She said, like, if you think you're oppressed, you're not oppressed. And I was like, huh. Because she said,
if you have the freedom to express the idea and get it out, like, that's what's so fucking irritating is like, you're saying how oppressed you are every day and how black people are so fucking oppressed or women are so fucking oppressed, and you get online and you have millions and millions of people chanting the same thing over again. If you were that fucking oppressed, like, real oppression doesn't look like that. Fucking, back when there were slaves, do you think a slave was ever allowed to be like, I'm fucking oppressed over here? No. He didn't fucking say a goddamn word. If you're allowed to be that fucking loud and be on national television and fucking, you're not oppressed. There is no oppression going on there. Shut the fuck up. We live... Statistics. Anytime anyone brings up a statistic, that's the problem. Is because a statistic can just be... A statistic just changes no matter how you look at it or how you set the statistic up. So it's like, well, there's whatever statistic they throw out. Well, black people make up fucking bup, dup, 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 dup. It's like, okay, that doesn't fucking change. Like, you're not... We live in the freest fucking country ever. And the fact that you're allowed to be... That's kind of the catch-22 with freedom of speech and shit is the...
Yeah.
You are allowed to be this dumb. And that's fine. Like, it's kind of beautiful on how stupid you get to be. And how fucking... How oppressed do you think you are, and get online and trying to change laws and change the way the world is. That goes to show how beautiful and free of a country we live in. And that's like the beauty of it. But the problem is if we keep going down this fucking path you're talking about, you're just giving up freedom after it fucking makes me so mad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ugh.
Because she was saying that, while she was in North Korea, she escaped when she was 13. While she was there, she had never seen a map of the world before. So they're under the impression, the people there, that there is nothing else. That is the whole planet, is North Korea. They don't even know it's like a planet. There's no map of the world. There's no knowledge of Russia, of America, of Africa. It's just North Korea. And there's a caste system of 13 castes, and if you're born into the bottom one, you can never move out of that caste system. So it's like, that's your life. So either survive or just try to kill yourself somehow. There's no knowledge of the outside world. And so she was saying those people are oppressed and they don't even know it. They just know that as life. And it was just crazy. And she had an emergency. I'm going to be giving away some spoilers here. She had an emergency appendectomy because her appendix burst. No anesthesia or whatever for it. No numbing agent. It was just an appendectomy of just slicing you open. And there's things like, a lot of children dying and people eating rats. And it's like, oh my God, dude. Rats eating the eyeballs of the dead people because they're soft. And it is just so bad. And I was thinking, and I've thought this before where I was like, and this is going to be giving away something else. I'm like, why don't the other countries step in and say, okay, North Korea, you can't do this anymore? Because this is sort of it's like you're reading about, it's not like you're reading about a Holocaust that happened 80 years ago. It's one that's happening right now as we're speaking, as you're listening to this. It's happening right now. It's something you'd read about in history books. And I'm like, why don't other countries like the U.S. step in and say, no, you can't do this anymore. You're really fucked up. And and Joe asked her this, and her reasoning behind it was China. So, and it was a few reasons for China. South Korea, and I have a map of the world in my living room. North Korea is right off the coast of China, and North Korea is between South Korea and Japan from China, and China is communist. Japan is not communist, and China likes a buffer zone in between sort of a more capitalism and communism. They like North Korea being that buffer zone. Don't let it get too close to us. That's one reason, and that makes a lot of sense to me. They don't want Japan right across the fucking water. So there's that. And then the other thing is China is basically farming multiple things from North Korea. They buy girls from North Korea as sex workers. They buy organs from North Korea. They harvest organs from North Koreans. They kill them and take the organs to China and do organ transplants. Because if you're in China and you need a lung, you'll have the lung in 3 hours. And nobody asks questions where it came from. It's because they want the lung. So they're just there. They harvest sex workers, organs, and they also mine in China. Kim Jong-un or whatever lets the Chinese just mine for like metals and precious metals and gold and stuff, and he doesn't charge them anything. So it's like she's saying like China and North Korea, basically the same exact thing. It's all just ran by China. So that's why America doesn't go to North Korea and just say, stop doing this, because we're scared of the big brother next door. The whole world is scared of that. So it's like, just brush it under the rug kind of thing. And I'm like, that is so fucked up. It's so fucking crazy. And I've thought of it before. Why don't countries step in? They're scared of China.
Yeah.
Imagine China says to us, okay, no more boats of your toilet paper. All of our shelves will be empty, just like during COVID when they stopped all the boats. We can't have that, because then here, we'll just be killing each other. So it's like we need to stay on China's good side so we can keep buying stuff from them since we don't produce anything. So if we're not going to fuck with North Korea, because that's just, they're in the same family together. It's just so evil and fucked up. And I was thinking afterwards, I was thinking about like LeBron James and the Kardashians and stuff, and I'm just like, we are so fucked up here too, and nobody knows how fucking good they have it, that they're not like literally like eating their children. It's fucked up. It's a great fucking podcast though. It's really good. And heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's good. It's fucking it is such a bullshit fucking.
This world is just insane.
It is. North Korea is a really bad fucking. Yeah.
And
but Russia's
also
done a lot of shit like that too, though, right? Like with a lot of surrounding countries, to where they just totally fucking shit on them, and they're just like a second class country, but no one really does anything because no one wants to fuck with Russia. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Joe made a good point too, that we need China for like those products. We also need China because he brought up like the new Fast and the Furious movie, how it does decent numbers in America, and then it does like mega numbers in China. And like, like LeBron James apologizing to China or whatever he did for, because they need like shoe sales, they need movies. All of our movies do like really good there. So it's like, we need them so much that it's not even fucking funny.
Well, and fucking,
they could be, yeah.
Wasn't it weird how, I don't know, something that I think is weird is, to me, Asian culture is pretty fucking racist amongst themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And it was so weird to me when the whole pandemic started, where everyone's like calling it racist. Like, you can't call it the Chinese virus and shit like that. It's like, why are we defending these people? Right off the bat, I didn't understand that. Like, why are we defending China? It doesn't make any sense. Like, why woke culture is defending China. You know what I mean? Why the left is like, you can't say the Chinese, that's that's racist. Like, what are you talking about? One, it's not racist to call someone Chinese. Like, or call something that came from a country that. Like, that's so weird that that's racist. Saying, like, that's the China virus is like, you're a fucking bigot. It's like, what? Like, I don't get how that's big. If it had came from America and you called it the American flu, is that racist? Like, that wouldn't be racist in the slightest. I don't know. It's not like calling it the chink flu would be, that's racist. Like, calling it...
Well, and I'm not mad at people in China. It's the Chinese government that is the fucking going straight to hell when they die.
Do you think that, at the conspiracy theory side, do you think that's why, like... why what we're seeing is like on, like, obviously most of what happens in America for the last few years is just trickled down through news and fucking big organizations. It's like, why are these social issues like fucking, why are they what they are? It's because they get crammed down our throats every day, and everyone just thinks that that's what everyone else is thinking, and then it does become what everyone is thinking, is what's being pushed on Fox and CNN and shit like that. And it's like, is this all just owned primarily by Chinese? You know what I mean? Is that why there's this you're never allowed to talk shit on China? You know what I mean? It's like, fuck China. You know what I mean? Fuck China. Fuck. I don't know.
I think it's fuck China, but it's also ourselves. We became way too dependent because somewhere along the line, and I was talking to Sawyer about this, somewhere along the line, it became like, maybe in our like grandparents' generation, it was cool to be like, you know, like a chimney sweep or like a plumber or an electrician, somewhere along the line, it became way more cool to become like popular on Instagram or YouTube and not cool to be like a farmer. Like say there was like a young girl who wanted to be like a farmer. She's like 14 and wants to run her own farm. And then there's like a 14-year-old girl that has like 100,000 followers on Instagram. One of those two is way cooler than the other one. And somewhere along the line, we've stopped producing anything except for YouTube accounts. So now we have to be dependent on them or we're going to starve. So it's a fuck up. So we fucked up too by however that happened. I'm disappointed in us as well.
Yeah.
I'd like, if I ran a country, I'd be like, all right, we're going to be just self-sufficient. We're not going to depend on anybody. We're going to try to be that way. I mean, every country doesn't have like all the minerals that you need, like oil and water and all this shit, but let's try to be as self-sufficient as possible. Let's try to make it cool to be like manufacturing cars and planes and shit like that.
I think I really do. The end of the day, I think we're, like utopian shit's never going to work and this shit's going to fail because, humans are just so fucking selfish and just like the only lessons that are learned are real lessons. You can't read a fucking history book and really internalize any of that shit. And it's obvious because no one does internalize anything that's ever happened. Fucking World War II was not that fucking long ago. And it really does feel like ancient history. And it's like, you talk to any of those fucking people that were around then, it's a totally different mentality. Everything is so fucking different to them. You know what I mean? And they saw the horrors of that shit. And it's like nowadays, like, like people calling for a revolution and calling for that shit. It's like, well, it's pretty easy to do, and you think you're ready for it when you're out there on the streets and you really have no opposition, and you're out there just burning cop cars and like everything's fine. When shit really, all this shit you're fucking calling for, when it actually comes to fruition, you're not fucking ready. You know what I mean? Like, and then like you're calling for a revolution in 1 minute, but then also this in the same fucking stride being like, we need to fucking do away with guns and do away with gun control. How are you going to win this fucking fight you're talking about? You know what I mean? Like, it just seems so, and all you're going to do is just cripple the country. That's all you're going to do. Just 10, 15 years of this same mentality, we're going to be we're already dog shit. You know what I mean? It's like,
and it's like the greatest thing you can probably take from history is like lessons and learning things. Yeah. No, because in class it's just like, what date was D-Day? And you're like, June 4th. It's either the 4th or 6th. And you're just trying to like remember like those dates instead of like, I don't know, like putting like a World War II vet in front of you or like trying to get as close as possible to actually realizing it. You're just trying to remember the fucking like dates and stuff because you're like, I'm getting high as fuck after this class. It's fucking 2:30 and I'm just trying to get out of here. You know?
I guess we're going political on this, and I haven't done much research. I tried not to fucking spend very much time on this, but it's getting pretty along the same lines we're talking about, is not paying attention to history. This whole argument now that's going on with the CRT bullshit, like fucking, it's so ridiculous to me. Everyone online's like, oh, all the left is saying, oh, you don't believe in history. Like, that's the chant, is like, oh, you don't believe in history. You don't want us fucking teaching. Oh, only teaching what you want taught in school, not what we want taught in school. And it's like, I look back at history and I'm like, they didn't skip over anything in history. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, what they've been teaching in history is what happened in fucking history. As far as slavery and all that shit. We didn't sugarcoat slavery in school. Not from what I fucking remember. You know what I mean? Yeah. We talked about it for what it was. What happened? Jim Crow laws. What are you talking about? And it's like, well, you're not teaching that there's systemic racism built into the American culture. That's not fucking history. Like, I don't like this baby back bullshit. Like, well, we need to really in history classes, what we need to be teaching to our children is how oppressive white people are. It's like, I just like what I don't understand what the fuck you're talking about. Like, we're not the ones trying, like, the right isn't the ones trying to fucking change the history classes. And fuck you for saying history classes have been skewed. I'm sure they are. Winners write fucking history. I'm sure there's some weird shit in history books that aren't exactly how they went down, and the accounts aren't right. But saying that you're essentially like, what we learned in high school, what I learned in high school, what I learned in school in social studies and history class wasn't this skewed towards white people thing. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just makes me so, I don't know. Yeah. And racism is real, and it will always exist. Always. But
he finally said it. Woohoo! And it's just interesting to hear from her how against the woke culture she was, a girl that is from North Korea. It's fucking crazy. And I guess it makes sense, but it kind of threw me for a loop. I was like, oh, wow, like, that's crazy. And she was also really honest about two things that Donald Trump did. And I appreciate someone being objective because it's hard to find someone objective. She said that she liked him of how hard he was on China. She's like, no president has ever stood up to China that much, and she applauded him for that. But then Joe asked her about, what'd you think about Trump meeting with Kim Jong-un? And she was like, that was really damaging that he did that. And I was like, huh, that's interesting.
But what do you do? You just told two different things. You know what I mean? Like, what do you do? Like, he was...
I know, that's what I thought at the time.
Do you not have a relationship with the country? We can't attack it. So what's the fucking... What do you do? And that's another thing, too. You talking about this is... when the pandemic started, I vividly remember listening to the radio, and there was like a 1 week period right when the fucking April, June, or May, like May of 2020 or whatever, and fucking, the virus was out, and I was that was right in the moment where I'm like, what is happening? Like, why are people getting weird about this? And it was like the week when like everything shut down, like the week before that when it just shut the fuck down. On the news that week was all about Donald Trump and China. It was a huge fucking topic, and it had nothing to do with the virus. It had to do with us putting steel fucking tariffs out and fucking how hard and like this is so fucking important, and then fucking pandemic hit and done. We're just done with the China thing. You know what I mean? It was like, I don't know. It's just now I don't know. Yeah, fuck China, and I don't understand why. It seemed like a PR move. You know what I mean? It seemed like this whole fucking pandemic took a lot of pressure off of China when it should have increased the pressure on China. And it's like people just stopped talking about the tariffs and shit like that. And like, fuck China. And now it's like, well, talking bad about China is racist. Like, I don't even understand what's happening now. Because from what I understood, fuck them. We should be putting tariffs on these, Yeah.
And she said, like, Kim Jong-il was kind of recognized as a world leader amongst other world leaders. And then when his son came into power, like, I guess in his 20s, since he's like 33 right now, he was kind of seen as just like a kid who didn't know what he was doing. And they didn't really want to validate him, other world leaders. But by Trump meeting with him, the president of the United States, it then kind of validated him and boosted his ego and also made other world leaders be like, okay, he is a legit world leader. And she was like, he shouldn't have done that. And I see her point.
I get that. But what do you, if you're left?
No, I agree.
What do you do? Do we go to war with China? No one would fucking be down with that. You can't attack North Korea.
No.
Which not even for China. With not even for China now. Now just the political state we're in now. Even if it had nothing to do with China, we would never get involved just because. Can't start a war, man. Fucking. You know what I mean? We got to fucking get out of all of our conflicts. We need to stop being the bully, and that's racist. That's a white agenda type fucking thing.
Yeah. No, I remember that at the time when they met each other. That people saying like Kim Jong-un like hates Hillary Clinton and would never meet with her, but he's gonna meet with Trump. And I'm like, well, at least they're starting to talk. At least they're talking to each other. Maybe that's the first step of telling him, hey, you're running your country like a fucking genocide. Maybe the start is just like a handshake. I mean, it's something. Maybe it's better than the start being like missile shot at each other. So yeah, you're like, what are you supposed to do? So, but I see it for, she knows what she's talking about, but what are you going to do? You should listen to that podcast.
I will.
It was good.
I will. And, yeah,
I hope
and to
you
me,
do.
whenever you look back at, like, I don't know, World War II, Stalin, any, like, mass genocides, when shit was really bad for people, or even to this day in certain pockets of the world where it's really fucking bad for people, just take that and then just, like, fucking play a 10-second clip about someone bitching about their fucking pronouns. And it's like,
I know.
You're a fucking retard. This is a stupid conversation we're having right now. Fuck this transgender rights thing. No one cares. Like, that's what the fucking thing. All these issues everyone has, no one cares. You need to validate your voice somehow. You know what I mean? It's like,
I think it's just a lack of problems.
a lack of problems is creating a bunch of problems, and then it's really irritating. Like fucking like LeBron James getting on some shit. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, what are you talking about? Talking about being the most prized athlete on the face of the planet, making a shitload of money, and then getting on and being like, oh, black people are oppressed. Like, oh my God, like this is ridiculous.
Yeah. It made me just think differently about athletes being like, no, I don't deserve 100 million. I deserve like 130 million and stuff like that. And you're just like, you have no idea how lucky we are, to even have your own house and stuff like that. It's just crazy. It was eye-opening.
Yeah. Dirty dog. Yeah. Yeah. So I had I need to meet up with this friend and figure out more, because blew me the fuck away. But supposedly I have this friend, and I'm assuming it's his second DUI that he got, but he's always lived up in Washington, and we worked together a long time ago, and he's always lived in Washington, and he's like, hey, I'm moving over to your county, and I'm like, oh, why the fuck did you move over here? Because he's always been in the Washington side, and he's like, oh, I got a DUI, and Washington County is forcing me for my diversion. I have to live in Washington County. And I'm like, what? Like, what? I didn't know that was isn't that crazy? Like, that a county would force you to move to their county to just deal with your fucking... I don't know. I just think that's nutty. I don't know why.
You got a DUI in the county? In the county,
and then with the diversion, what I'm assuming, I don't have all that much
Weird.
information, so it's probably stupid for me to even be talking about this, but what I'm assuming is going on is they're allowing him to have his license, and as like as a fucking part of the diversion, or whatever that fucking program is. They're like, well, we'll give you your license, but you need to move here into this county so that we can keep an eye on... I don't know. I just think that's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, DUIs in Oregon are fucking no goddamn joke. It is such a banana. It is, oh, dude, do not get a DUI here. It's fucking, you have to get the blower in your car. Fucking, it's, whole 9 yards. They say, here in Oregon, they say it's $9,000. Because you have to get your fucking, to drive, you have to get the blower in your car. And then the blower now costs like $5,000, and you have to pay for it. You have to pay for the install. And now they're getting more expensive because they take pictures of you now. So it's not just the blower. It's a blower and a camera. And so when you blow into it, it takes a picture of you and fucking sends it to a deal so that they know that you're the actual person blowing into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because assholes would just hand it to the sober passenger. What kind of asshole sober passenger is going to be like, oh, yeah, you're drunk, I'll blow into it?
You take your kid along with you, like, hey, you want to play a game?
Oh.
Fucking.
The kid gets in his friend's mom's car, and he's like, do we have to blow the thing before we go? It's like, what? No.
We went, one time I was with this lady. I was with a friend, and their mom took me, and she's like, the mom was like a pretty well-off lady, nice car. But she had gotten a DUI, and she had to get one of these put in it, like a brand new fucking Lexus. And fucking... Anyways, we went to like a really high-end restaurant here in Portland. Like a fucking very expensive $150 type plate, expensive fucking restaurant. And
your friend's mom is driving you guys to dinner?
Drove me... I don't know why I went with her. We were like I think we were at their house. And like just hanging out, and then we were gonna go to dinner, and it didn't make sense for literally every person to drive their own car. So I just hopped in with the mom, and I think my buddy and his girlfriend went in their car, and then we drove in two cars. I think that's how that worked out. And we get there, and fucking, it's like a valet deal. Like that's how you're supposed. Like essentially that's how everyone does it, is they go into valet because there's no parking. And fucking you pull up to the restaurant and they just valet your shit. And fucking we didn't realize until we're leaving. She's like, oh, fuck. She's like, I forgot all about the blower. And then so we had to go out. This like pretty wealthy lady had to like go out to valet and like, they're like, oh, ticket. And she's like, I gotta walk with you to go get my car. And they're like, no, we'll go get your car. She's like, no, I have a blower in it. She's like, oh, yeah.
I'm so glad I've never got a DUI.
I don't know how I've never gotten a DUI. Fucking,
Me too.
I've been really bad about it. Fucking,
yeah, you have.
I've done a lot of dumb shit. And I did it in Sandpoint, which is like the worst place you can fucking do it. And I did it all the fucking time. At one time, it would have made me really mad if I would have gotten a DUI. But at one time, this is the one I don't understand how I didn't get a DUI. Because I know Sandpoint police officers wouldn't have given a shit about my excuse at all. They would have just given me the DUI. One time, I went downtown. I had a little Ford Festiva. I drove the Ford Festiva downtown in the middle of wintertime. So it's like fucking cold, snow everywhere. Drive that car down. And I'm parked in front of the 219. Like, not on that main road, off to the side, you know, where it used to be all diagonal parking right there. But it's like, at nighttime, that is the worst spot you can park. You know what I mean? It's like, the cops know every fucking car there, that's exactly where they are. It's the only cars in Sandpoint are in one little block. You know what I mean? Fucking ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. So it's like they've labeled your car, they know if you're leaving, and it's dead. That fucking town is dead at night. So if you're the only fucking car that pulls out of there, they're like, oh, wonder what he's fucking doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I parked right there. And then the bars close. And I didn't drive. But I was so fucking drunk that I was like really drunk. I must have smoked pot or something. Because I got like, at 2 a.m, I was like, I can't move right now. Like, I need to go to bed now. Like, right fucking now. So I just got in my car and fucking passed the fuck out. Like that, yeah. I was like, I'm just going to sit here. But it was fucking cold as shit. So so I turned the car on to heat the fucking car up, and I just passed the fuck out. Car on, and just out. And then woke up at fucking 5 o'clock in the morning. So I'd been there for 3 fucking hours. Only car downtown running. And you can tell it's running the fucking exhaust. It's cold as shit. So the exhaust is fucking, you can see it fucking like 6 feet, and I'm just out. And I wake up at 5, and I'm like, how the fuck did a cop not fucking come knock on this window? It really made no sense to me. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I thought for sure they'd be like, oh shit, someone's getting in their car. And then I thought for sure, in that circumstance, you're getting a fucking DUI, right? Like, if you're outside the 219 fucking sleeping in your car, they're going to be like, yeah, okay, you're not going to drive. Like, no, dude, I was just fucking sleeping. Like,
yeah. I usually park in the U.S. Bank parking lot. And I had a buddy who told me a story. He's like, he parked in the U.S. Bank parking lot one time. He was hammered. He was in his truck, and then like a cop saw him like walk to his truck and start it, and the cop like was sitting there on the street and was like waiting for him to drive. And then he said that he called 911 and he said, I'm at Roxy's right now. There's a giant fight that just broke out, and that the cop like turned his lights on and took off, and then he fucking just drove home. And I'm like, okay.
That's a good fucking idea right there.
I'm like, I don't know if I believe you, but it's kind of believable.
It's smart. That's a smart move. If that did happen, that's a smart fucking move.
Yeah. But stupid to drive drunk. Don't do it. Terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Ford Festivas, I was driving the rental car for the Ford Fiesta. Well, my car was getting hail damage fixed, and I did a over the phone video chat like estimate of the damages of my car, and Allstate said it's going to cost $2,000. And then I'm like, cool, okay. And then I took it into the dent place to get it fixed, and I got the Ford Fiesta rental car. And that's when the dent place then does a supplemental thing where they then tell the insurance what the actual cost is going to be. The insurance just does that initially just to sort of start the process. And then the repair place is like, no, this is what the actual cost is going to be.
Yeah.
The actual cost to get it fixed is $11,000. I'm like, oh my God. And it's fixed, and I have it back.
Looks perfect.
Yeah, it looks brand new, like a brand new car. I'm like, that is. I told my mom, and she's like, the fucking insurance isn't going to pay for that. I'm like, they already paid for it. That is a shitload of damage.
Did your insurance go up?
I asked the insurance guy if it was gonna, and then I felt stupid by asking the question. I'm like, no, it's not gonna. It was not like a collision or anything. It's just hail damage. There's no reason it should go up.
And the guy said no, it's not going to go up.
He said, I just deal with damage. I can't answer that question for you. I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, it probably won't.
I don't know.
It's not like I hit a person or something, you know? No one was even driving it.
Yeah, but that's not how they're looking at it. I bet your insurance goes up. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Would you want to be buried or cremated?
I really don't care. My parents.
I used to want to be buried, but I had a conversation with someone, and now I think I want to be cremated.
Yeah, we have we're starting like a family plot out in Bondurant, Wyoming, out in the middle of fucking nowhere, and my parents have already bought their spots and paid for everything, and they're like ready to go to get buried there. And it's like on the property where my stepfather's family moved to. Yeah, it's like a whole fucking family thing. I'll probably go get buried there. Like, they've been asking me, they're like, oh, you should pay for a spot right now while they're all open and we can get buried next to each other and blah, blah. But I probably should do that. I'm not in any worry about that fucking cemetery getting filled up, because if you've ever been to Bondurant, Wyoming, you'd be like, yeah, no one's getting buried. No, there has to be people that die around for you to fill fucking burial spots, and there is not a fucking soul. It's right. like
you don't want to get moved.
Huh?
You don't want to get moved? Because they move cemeteries if they get full.
Oh, yeah, this one's not going to get moved. I didn't really think about that. That wasn't the reasoning at all. It's just out in the middle of goddamn nowhere.
Right.
Bondurant, Wyoming, population 99, I think is what it is. Mm-hmm. It's like Heron, Montana type thing.
Uh-huh.
But even smaller than that.
And that's where you want to stay forever.
I don't know. I really don't care. Once I die, I'm pretty checked out, so I don't really give a shit what happens.
Just throw you in a dumpster.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cremated for me. I want to be on the record. Please cremate. Don't bury. I don't need to be covered in maggots or whatever happens.
Yeah. Yeah, mummified. I'd be down for that. You could mummify me.
That'd be
bury me down. Yeah. Yeah, I don't care. But yeah, if I'm ever asked about what I should do with you, I'll say fucking burn him. Fucking burn that motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. Please.
Dude, on our last episode, did I talk about... I went down this weird rabbit hole, and it has to have been in the last 2 weeks. I don't think it was before that. No, someone had posted online, and it just sent me down this rabbit hole figuring out. But someone had posted me online, and it said, fuck, or get Nazis out of punk, like punk music. And it said, fuck Screwdriver. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I was like, well, what? Then I was like, I had to figure out what Screwdriver's all about now. Like, is there this openly racist punk band? You know what I mean? Like,
is there?
Yeah, it's called Screwdriver. And so then I read up all their Wikipedia shit and listened to a few songs. And it's kind of an interesting deal.
You bought a few albums.
And I honestly want to do a little bit more research, because the band started in the 70s, in the early 70s, and it was may even have been the late 60s, but the band was anti-communism, and they're a British band. And like that was their all anti-communist shit. Like that was everything. All their songs are fuck communism, blah 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 blah. And then they broke up, and I guess they got back together in the early 80s. And then once they'd gotten back together, then it was like all Nazi shit. It was all fucking, which it was just really confusing to me. And I was wondering if the internet, if what I was reading was skewed, and they're just like, because. Yeah,
but then you listen to it.
I don't know. It just didn't make sense to go from anti-communism to swastikas and shit like that. It was just like, this is... And nothing I saw like ever had a swastika on it, or like an SS symbol or something like that. It was very close. A lot of like eagle, like the Iron Eagle thing. You know what I mean? Like was one of their symbols they had going on. But then that led me down. So then I was reading about that and fucking listening to a few songs of it. Then that led me into a video game that was created called the most racist video game ever created. And I was like, what? And it's called, oh my God, I had it when I wrote it down. I didn't write the name of it because I figured I would have remembered. It's called, what's it called when you fucking just wipe a race off the planet? Imminent,
Extinction?
Oh my God.
Have you ever seen the movie SLC Punk?
Yeah.
I watched that this week.
Did you?
Yeah, it was good.
Dude, so anyways,
you're loving Screwdriver. You're buying shirts, albums,
yeah, but
posters.
just buying. No,
You'd
but
think that
what
would get
really blew me away is you should
You'd think
fucking...
that would get protested.
Dude, you need to get on YouTube and fucking look up... Oh my God, why can't I think of the fucking name of this game? The gameplay is insane. Yeah. It's fucking insane. Ethnic Cleansing. That's what it's called. The video game's called Ethnic Cleansing. And it was obviously wasn't a very popular game. Came out in 2002, but it's like a playable game. It reminds you of like Doom, like old school Doom. But as you like go, I watched the gameplay of it, and it's all punk music playing in the background. Like that's the soundtrack to the video game, and the Screwdriver was featured on that soundtrack. But you go through, and all like the whole game is just killing Mexican people with like their like stereotypical sombrero with the blanket on, and it's either a Mexican dude or a black dude, and it says "Nigs" on the shirt of the black dude, and then either that or Hasidic Jews, like with the fucking curls on it, and you just go around and fucking just shoot all these people. Like the whole fucking game is just going through that. And I guess I didn't watch to the end, but I guess like the climax of the game is some big Jew, like someone that Nazi, like this political figure of Hasidic Jews, like a big Hasidic Jew. I didn't know who he was. They said his name, and I was like, I don't know who that is. But I guess not. Like real skinheads fucking hate this Jewish dude.
It's like the final boss.
Yeah, the final boss is this big dude that you have to fucking kill. It's fucking
crazy.
Dude, it's insane. Watch a gameplay of it. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah. I guess crazy. It was just a video game that was like circulating online. You know what I mean? Like in 2002. Like,
that Screwdriver made.
No. It was like a Tony Hawk soundtrack. They were just one of the bands that it just somehow.
Oh, I see.
Learning about this band just led me into learning about this video game, and I was just like, "What the fuck is all this shit?"
That's craziness.
Yeah, went down that whole path.
That's insane. Jesus.
Yeah.
I'll look that up, but that's crazy and fucked up.
It is fucked up. It is fucked up. I don't know what I'm going to do about work. I'll tell you that much. Fucking, there's no goddamn work.
So you're not getting paid?
Not getting paid for shit. Fucking, I got 2 weeks of work, it looks like, up in Seattle. But I think I'm going to have to join the union, which I never wanted to join the union, but it looks like that's the only option.
I thought you already were.
No, we're not union.
Oh.
We're a private company. I've never been union. We don't pay union dues. But it looks like that's where it's headed. It's going union. I know, it really irritates me. What irritates me is I've worked in a company, and I feel like I've worked to prove myself, and I don't want to fucking start that over again. I don't want to start that fucking process over again. And it sucks with trade, with what my experience is it sucks because you can't I feel like it'd be different in a different field of work, or if you went to college, because then it would be a different resume. You know what I mean? On a fucking construction resume, it's like if I was like trying to get into the bidding side of it, or whatever, you'd be like, okay, I went to college, I have a degree in engineering, and then I have 5 years with this company. That looks totally different than, oh, I have 5 years in a company and then 10 years construction resident. Yeah. Literally, that means nothing to someone. They listen to that and be like, yeah, but you could have fucking been on meth the whole time. You know what I mean? Jerking off in the fucking bathroom. Like,
Yeah.
Like, until I get there and show you, you know what I mean? Or like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to start from the fucking bottom.
Nobody wants to start from the bottom.
I definitely wouldn't start from the bottom. I wouldn't allow it. Like, if they like were like, oh, you're gonna, but I don't know how it works. I've talked to a few people that have told me to join the union, and like this one older guy who's a super. He was saying, he's like, yeah, you wouldn't have to go through all that shit. He's like, they would test you out and figure out how much knowledge you have, and you wouldn't have to start at the bottom. And supposedly the union is lazy as shit. I don't know. I'm in a weird transition period of my life. I don't know what the fuck I want to do. I don't want to live here anymore. I want to change. It sucks with the family. I really want to go back to Idaho. I really would like to fucking move back. If housing
just go to
prices,
Southern Idaho.
It just sucks. I just wish. No, fuck Southern Idaho. I just wish the housing cost wasn't what it's like. It really bums me out.
Yeah. Dude, I was making and it doesn't sound. It depends on who you ask, but when I left there, I had worked my way, slitting throats, and fucking climbing a mountain, scratching and clawing my way up to $18.50 an hour in Sandpoint, which was really hard to do, and it just didn't feel like enough. It just was
it's
not
not
enough.
that much money. And now,
but to get a dollar raise there, you have to fucking stab somebody. It is not easy to do.
Yeah. I feel like the only option is starting a company. Like, I feel like that's the only fucking way to do it would be to start a company.
Well, you did that thing where you bid the thing and you fucking went balls to the wall for 3 days.
I'm legitimately this close to doing it. I'm just like, I feel like if I don't do it, the rest of my life, if I don't fucking try to start a company and make it work, I feel like the rest of my life, I'm going to be like, why the fuck didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? Like,
yeah. And it might just torpedo, but you'll probably make a little money along the way, at least enough to survive.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But then I look at fucking people around me, and it's like this, my company right now, Stellar J, this started in the 80s with a dude that just started a fucking construction company. And now it's this huge company that's doing massive city jobs. And it's like,
yeah,
that dude's fucking rich as shit now. You know what I mean? The guy that started that company. Like, rich as fuck. And it's like, he started with a fucking trailer and a few guys. You know what I mean? Fucking building houses. And it's like the roofing company I worked for. That guy he doesn't work anymore. He worked when I started there fucking 3 or 4 years ago. Barely. Would come up on a roof and work a little bit. That dude don't fucking work. He's like 40 years old and makes, I'm assuming, around $250,000 a year in his pocket. Like, I've talked to a few people that kind of know his finances, and then his wife makes good money. Dude, just imagine that. Imagine being 40, making $250,000 a year. You don't work. You don't fucking even go to work. You just sit at home and just money just comes. He just fucking motorcycle races. That's what he does. That's his life. He just has worked a little bit, set up a company. That company just makes him money, and he just fucking goes in motorcycle races. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if you don't start a company, you'll never live that lifestyle. Ever.
Right.
You'll be working hourly wage for the rest of your fucking life. And you're going to go and so either you do that, which is fine, and then you retire when you're 60, and then that's when you get to relax and do that shit. But it's like, dude, it's possible to not live that life. It is fucking possible, and the only way to do it is to just pull the trigger and take a fucking chance. You know what I mean? And start a company and try to make it work. And I feel like right now in Sandpoint, great fucking time to do it. The thing that would scare the shit out of me is when it fucking crashes. Which it's going to fucking crash. There's no way. This shit's so unsustainable.
Maybe. Probably. Well, yes, of course. Yeah, it will. But I think Sandpoint's on the trajectory to become like an Aspen or Boulder.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
So if that does happen and it keeps going up, right now is literally the best time to do that. Like, you need to pull the trigger now, sooner rather than later. And when I was up there on vacation, talking to my parents' fucking friends and shit like that, like, the general consensus I got was people are trying to get work done in Idaho right now, and they're being put on a waiting list. Like, contractors are just so fucking booked up and full that... And so it's like, well, fuck, now's the time to go. Now's the time to fucking do it. I want to. I need to. I think it's the thing to do. The problem I'm having, like, justifying any of this shit is what do, like... my first thought would be sell the house and then move there. If I do that, I can't buy another house. One, a mortgage company is never going to finance me because I don't have a job now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then I wouldn't be able to buy a house for at least 2 to 3 years. You know, they would need to see that your company actually made money. So it's essentially fuck the house. I would be renting, which is fine with me, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like I don't even want to buy a house at what they're asking in Sandpoint anyways. You know what I mean? And then so one thing, the idea would be like keep this house and rent it out, which is kind of an idea I've thought about. But to me, that's just like doing the math on that. That's fucking impossible. There's no goddamn way someone's going to rent. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. But if I just look at my mortgage and then if I went to like a fucking property management place, they take 7%.
Yeah.
Of the profit off that. Who the fuck is going to pay like $2,300 for a fucking 1930s 900 square foot house? Yeah. It's like, maybe. And it seems a lot more logical to me to just fucking take the equity I've already gotten out of it. Supposedly online it says, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'd have to get it appraised and redo it. But it says on Zillow that it's fucking estimated at fucking 400 now. So it's like, you know, I'd probably get 380. That's like $40,000 equity. That'd be pretty legit to just get out from under it, take that 40 grand, that helps you start a fucking company. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you lose a little bit, lose the closing costs and shit like that. So let's just say realistically walk away with 25,000. Walk away with 25,000, fucking, that's enough to start a company. That's enough to buy a trailer and fucking new truck and just fucking go at it.
Jesus. Yeah, and it's like, at least when I was house hunting there 5 years ago, how you say, like, the prices are similar to Portland. The thing is that the amount of houses is not. When I was looking, it was like, oh, there's 4 houses available to buy. There's 4 of them, and they all are piles of shit. So it's like, good luck buying a house. You're going to buy a pile of shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
For a lot of money. There was like 4 options available at the time. I was like, oh my God. Don't even have options here. It's shitty. I'd love to move. I'd fucking kick an old lady down the stairs right now for the option to just move somewhere.
Not Sandpoint, though.
No.
Yeah. I just want to raise a family there. I think out of everywhere I've ever seen, that'd be a great place to raise a family. I feel like there, I'd finally be able to, like, because I have a real problem here with, like, it scares me for the kid to, like, be out front of our house and just hanging out. You know what I mean? And I feel like in Sandpoint, I wouldn't feel that way. I mean, there's obviously creepers in Sandpoint, too, but it's like, I'd feel a lot fucking safer.
Yeah.
To just like, go ahead. Go fucking, especially with a little girl, just be like, you're not going to get fucking abducted. And I think the chances around here of something fucking nefarious happening is way fucking higher.
Yeah. No, if your little girl is caught like riding her bike a mile away, they're gonna come fucking arrest you so fucking quickly. Like, are you crazy? We can't do that these days. That's insane. It's all like, stay inside. Everybody stay in your house.
And I don't want that fucking, and that's how it is here. You know, it's funny, the people that don't abide by that, and I think it's funny, is that is the general consensus. Mexican people don't give a shit. It's so weird. I applaud them for it. The way Mexican people, that you watch Mexican families, like if I look down the street, up and down, there's not, kids don't play outside. Mexican families, kids, oh, fuck. They're fucking blocks away from their house. Just little kids, fucking 5 years old, just laughing, giggling, running down, and like, it's crazy.
That's how it used to be. Imagine you'd be out at the store somewhere or something, and you see some little girl riding her bike down the street. You'd be like, what the fuck? What is happening? We have to call somebody. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy, man. There's that. I have thought about moving to the coast. Because the coast is kind of like that mentality.
I'd be down. The problem there is I don't think there's anywhere to work other than like grocery stores or some fishing boat or some lumber company.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I could stay on my same career and I could make that work. So if you lived in like Lincoln City or I don't know, any of those, and you join the union, you could fucking, there's enough work to where you could be an hour and a half away from the coast, and still live at the coast and make
I'm always
decent
open
money.
to that. Yeah.
The coast is weird. For people that have never, coast is like, I don't know, unless you've lived there, it is unexplainable to try to explain what it's like at the coast, because it's a different breed of people. It's the same as if you were trying to talk to someone about like Sandpoint life. It's like impossible to explain what it's exactly like. It's just different.
Yeah.
It's just this different mentality. And on the coast, they got their own different thing. And then there's a lot of drugs on the coast. It's very similar. Sandpoint's very similar to how like coastal towns are, but then you get, I don't know, then you just get a whole, it's kind of like how in Sandpoint you got all the yuppie Schweitzer people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like this crowd of that's just specifically in Sandpoint, just for the mountain thing. Kind of the same thing in beach towns. You got like beach people who are just this specific weird breed of outcast that are just like, I don't know. Be fun though.
Down.
It's very windy. It's very windy. It gets pretty irritating how windy it is. Yeah.
Well, it's probably not as bad as here.
Well,
like
I don't know.
90 mile an hour.
It doesn't get, it just never, it's relentless. It just never stops. It doesn't get that high, but it will once in a while, but it's just relentless wind. The beach
I don't
is
like that idea.
Relentless wind. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Still open to the idea.
If anybody's got any ideas fucking on how to get me to Sandpoint, I'm down. I'm down to explore any of the ideas. I'm down.
You can stock shelves at Walmart. Send Erick a list being like, you can work at KFC, you can stock shelves at Walmart.
I'm not doing any of that shit. Not working restaurants. I'm doing something.
We should get our CDLs. Then you can move.
Absolutely not.
You can move wherever you want to move, and you could probably find a job.
I will never drive.
I'm not. I mean, like, you'll be home every night, not drive across the country.
No, anything. Have you ever driven a truck? You ever driven a dump truck? Fucking anything like that? No. Fuck off, bro. There's two things. Really? One, the people that do that are fucking a different breed of fucking people. Truck drivers are Jesus Christ. I swear to God, you have to be hit over the fucking head with a 4x4 before they give you your CDL. Because whenever a fucking truck driver ever shows up on a job, they are just dumber than a box of rocks. It's like, hey, just like, huh? It's like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then just the stress. I could never deal with the stress of driving a big rig, ever. I hated driving a fucking dump truck, and that's not even that big of a vehicle. I hated it. It's like, fuck this thing.
Well, I'm going to keep the option out there for myself. Who knows?
Are you serious? You would drive truck? Dude.
I mean, it's an option.
No, it's not an option. That's a god-awful lifestyle.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
Pretty much every option's on the table right now.
I wish I could start a fucking OnlyFans account. I wotes down with that. I wish I could make money
OnlyFans had a huge problem with guys starting OnlyFans accounts and subscribing to another girl's OnlyFans account and stealing her pictures and posting it as their OnlyFans accounts and like making a fucking shitload of money and stuff like that. It's a huge problem.
Is that illegal? Is there like...
Yeah, it's illegal.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, it's probably just illegal for like the site's fine print.
I never heard about that. That's a good idea. I don't know why I didn't think about that.
I never even thought of that. Say some girl's charging like $20, so you subscribe to her, steal her pictures, post another account as her, charge $10, start making fucking couple $1,000s a month. It's fucked up.
That is a really good idea.
I got someone waiting for me. I gotta go.
You gotta go?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Erick and Brad Show, episode 64 in the books. I'm Erick, that's Brad. We love you. Signing off. Bye!
I'm in the big leagues. Told her don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston. Ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh. Send it through quickly. I'm making his dog. like I'm in the big leagues. Told him that I gotta go, dawg. I'm riding a road, y'all. I think that I'm back in my bag now, so I need that go, y'all. Got hits when he throwing the fastball. Just too quick for it, peeling off like the whip orange. Seen they effort, this piss poor. I got too much, I gotta tend to. Car payments and the rent due. Told y'all that I'm 6 foot, but with the money stabbing, I'm 10-2. Too much that I've been through, so I put it all in that rear view. Clean money in a black whip, got old problems with the friends new. Yeah, I'm in the big leagues, told her don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. Yeah, I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly. I'm making his dog, like I'm in the big leagues. Yeah, I told him I'ma hit it out the stands. I deserve another 100 bands, I deserve another 100 fans. Told them this was always in the plans. I just did it cause they said I can. Blowing euros when I'm down in France. Labels asking how I build a brand. Told them put a check up in my hands. Boy got time, no cap. Made a few checks, but they all in the raps. Had a few friends, but they suck in the past. I don't even trip when I'm thinking about that. Hopped in the whip and we all in black. Shawty wanna ride till I hop in the back. 0 to 100, seen a rap on the dash. They ain't catching up, dog, I'm moving too fast. I'm in the big leagues, told her don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly. I'm making his dog, like I'm in a big league.